I flew first class to New York, single. So I said, well, I paid $3,000 for this ticket. So I'm going to talk to everybody in first class. I've got to make a friend, I've got to make a connection, and I've got to justify that payment. So I connected with quite a few people. Getting off the flight, I made two friends who are still friends today. What I'm trying to say from this is that sometimes you're going to have to make that investment. $3,000 investment just to get an 8-hour flight from London to New York. It opens up a different world of opportunity.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. 99% of traders will never make consistent profits. So why listen to the 99% of advice? On this show, we're going to challenge some of the most hallowed and repeated tenets of trading, and in doing so, set you up to succeed where others fail. Spoiler alert, we don't have a secret strategy or magic wand that will let you skip out on the hard work of learning the markets, but we can debunk viewpoints that are holding you back. If that sounds good to you, come join us.
How do you deal with the temptation? Because there is a temptation to pull money out. Like when you're up money, it can be really painful to let that run because, hey, you can't predict the market. It could always come back and just, hit your stop loss at break even, and you were up a ton of money and now you didn't make anything. How do you avoid that fear, I guess, and just put your head down and just let your winners run?
All right. Now, this is the thing now. Like, it's all down to control. Let your winners run, which is easy said and done. Coming back to what doubling up. Remember I said you got to trade 5R. Let's just keep it 2R, very basic. So I'm risking $100 to make $200, right? So the trade's going up and I'm like $40 in profit. So that's maybe 2 hours into the trade. So you see my entry of that $100. I'm going to move that entry level, stop loss level to my entry or just above. So my risk is what? 0. So whatever happens, my principal capital is protected, right? Just like defense, right. About sports earlier on. Like if you watch boxing now, you got kind of like jab, jab, block, because a few haymakers will knock you out. And the power comes from your legs, right? So in trading, the power of our potential of earning and making profit is by preserving capital. So like defense is the best offense, as they say.
Right.
So my first principle is to protect capital. So protecting capital now, I've protected the first 100, right? So that trade is 0 and profit is exponential. So why not risk that 100 again on the pullback when that happens by waiting for the pullback? So my risk is what? It's still the same 100, but my profit is now what? Doubled or quadrupled. So
I love that. Yeah.
That's the way to do it in that sense. But a losing trader now, they double down. Okay, it's pulled back up. Let me put another one. But that's fine. You can get away with it. But you will not get away with it if the market goes beyond the level and keep on dumping, adding. You run out of resources. Don't be at the market's mercy. Build your defense. The defense is always going to be the best offense. You're always going to have money to take advantage of another trading day. Or what if an opportunity comes and you haven't got no capital? Oh, Levi, can you borrow me 100? Can you borrow me 1,000? It happens. Yeah. It's happened to me a few times. Oh, I've blown all my liquid cash. I've got to wait till the following month till I can top up my account to trade. That's an opportunity cost. So not every trade is the best trade if it's going to blow your account. It's easy said than done. But until you've done it a few times and you felt that pain, you're not really going to break that cycle. Also, again, you have people, oh, I lost my job. I need to learn trading ASAP. Oh, this is the way forward. You have so much high expectations, but you're not looking at the long-term prospects. And it comes down to the loaf of bread and the key. What you want is not exactly achievable overnight. But if you got 6 figures, it's achievable. If you got that capital and you can afford to lose it, high expectations can be achieved if you're willing to lose X amount of money. How about that? You're so liquid that you can afford to lose it. So you're not emotional about it. That's all it is. It's still down to emotional intelligence, psychology. When you're emotionally attached to your money, you can't think straight. You can't trade straight. So I don't like that feeling. I'm not in control, but I'm in control of my emotions. But, oh, if I lose that trade, oh, I can't pay the mortgage, I can't pay the rent. What am I going to do? It's not a good feeling. You all had horror stories like that. So you're not going to risk the house balance on the market.
Learning to see trading as just, kind of getting your brain out of it and I guess your ego out of it, because there is the desire to be right. And so, and I think everybody comes kind of preloaded with that, desire to, I want to prove I'm right. And I think that's one reason, like, it's really easy to, I don't know, to add on to losers or to let them run or to pull out your money when you're winning. It's because I want to be, I want to be green. I want to be right rather than, hey, I want to, I don't care about being right. I don't care if I'm right this time. You don't have to be right a whole lot. If you're, getting your risk to reward is correct, to make quite a bit of money. So it's a really interesting shift. John, I had a question. This is just kind of a more random one, but if you went back to your young self in 2004 and had to give your young self one piece of advice, right? You get one piece of advice to try to shorten the amount of time it takes to learn, because it takes a long time. So what would you tell your younger self who had no idea how to trade? What would you tell them to try to give yourself a leg up as far as shortening the amount of time it took to learn?
Be patient, because I was
Mm,
like, I went in, wherever money I had trading, but I would have just been more patient. Same approach, but I'll be more patient in the sense that all that money I lost, I could have saved a fraction of it and done other things with it, but still on that journey. I could have probably dabbled into real estate. I could have dabbled into bonds. I could have dabbled into, I don't know, maybe ETFs, or I could have done other things. Or more importantly, get myself educated financially on a certain level. So, or buy books that I can read about these things, because reading books only came at a later stage in life. I think during the credit crunch, where I literally made it conscious to, start reading books, to open up conversations with people on a higher level, to get me in that room to have those sort of conversations, because certain conversations spark up opportunity. But how can you have the right conversations when you haven't got the basic prerequisite knowledge to open that conversation? So these are things I would have done. I would have invested more in my development by reading books, taking my time in terms of not rushing the process, and more importantly, just enjoy the journey, because when the time is right, it shall happen. Come on, look at,
mm,
I don't know if you watch soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo is a typical example. Back in 2003-04, I watched Cristiano play football. I was in Manchester, I was going to games. I saw him develop, and like, he was falling all over. He didn't have the physique he had today. His work ethic was more or less there, but he was working development. People could see Cristiano, people could see Messi. Messi in 2003, we heard about Messi, but we didn't really know about Messi. But Cristiano and Messi now are goats of that generation. That generation will never be repeated again in soccer or football. And
mm.
if you look at it, Ronaldo's body is, how do you get a body like that? And look at Messi. They do just about the same thing. But Messi is not as strong as Ronaldo physically with that physique. So you ask yourself, what level and attention to detail do you put on your process to become the ultimate best version of yourself? Some people have been fortunate to see Michael Jordan and Kobe play basketball in a lifetime. I've been fortunate too. Some people haven't. That's an experience. And when you see these athletes compete at the highest level, what is the process for consistency and getting that result? Come down to trading as well. Who's the ultimate trader? What's the definition of a successful trader? Oh, I got $1 million. Yeah, I made $10,000 a month. In my books, any job you can do that you can make over $10,000 a month, you're a professional or whatever you do. I'm saying, why that figure 10,000? It's psychological. It's just 1,000 with an extra zero. That's why I say you're a professional. Anyone can make $1,000. It's 200 by 5, right? But who can
Yeah.
make $10,000 by default with no specialist skill set consistently? Drop shipping, sweeping the floor. I don't know, taking out what do you call it? Uber, Lyft, trucking. I don't know, being a personal assistant, whatever it is. Oh, I make protein from home. I play video games for a living. But what if you do that makes $10,000 a month? Just keep it very basic. That's psychological. So what do you need to do to double that amount? Go do this, double up on the gig, do 2 gigs at the same time to get 20, or invest in another skill set. So when we have problems in life, oh, financial, I lost my job. Guess what? Trading is that only one job that, as they say, that pays you based on your performance. And in order to be the best, you know, make sure your decision making is on point. You got self-discipline, and more importantly, preservation of capital. So I tell people, if you want to get in this business, have a hobby. Always have a hobby. That will keep that anxiety down to a threshold. Play video games. If you don't play video games, go and learn how to play chess. The more games you win, you approach the game differently because your opponent's different, just like the market. So have these two things, a passion, a sport, or play chess. And more importantly, read books. There's a book called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housley. He's got a new book out called Smart You or something like that. I'm reading that at present. These concepts can be applied to any discipline. Trading is just what everyone's talking about. Oh, the most Googled concept, how to make money, how to be financially free. Let's look at current situations right now. Pandemic, the credit crunch, high interest rates. These are three global problems, right? That are not going away anytime soon. Your job is not secure. Your mortgage is not guaranteed every month by the bank. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying general consensus, right? So how do you challenge these three problems? And in business, they say the more problems you solve, it becomes a business and exponential profit, right? So how do you beat high interest rates? How do you survive a pandemic and the credit crunch where it's hard to borrow money? Homes are overvalued, people are losing houses, the whole financial system goes bust. What do you do? Well, guess what? The forex market is $1 trillion market. It never goes bust. You can regulate it, you can control it, you can limit participants in it, but the edge you guys have is you know what you're doing. You know how to get in and get out. You're not playing roulette, red and black. But how do you know to get in and out? Just like going to the gym, you're going to do what? You're going to get a coach, right? To get that physique. If you want to learn trading, what are you going to do? You're going to find someone who's a specialist and who's consistent, whose values align with yourself. So whatever discipline in life, what I'm saying is that you need someone to hold you accountable. And you guys can be a testimony to that, because before we met, what were you guys doing?
So how do you find a good, if you're a beginning trader, due to social media and kind of the low floor that it takes to get in, and there's a lot of people out there who are selling courses and stuff like that. And how do you find yourself as a beginner a good mentor or somebody who can keep you accountable? I mean, Jordan and I were very lucky, right? We're brothers, so we could kind of go through this together. But what would your advice be to a beginner who needs to find, somebody who can keep them accountable, somebody who can go through the journey with them, or somebody who can be a mentor? It's a really packed field with a lot of people vying for their attention. How would you advise somebody go about that?
Right. Now, there's two ways of doing that, you see. Like, first of all, find a good mentor, someone who's really good. That's like picking a diamond out of the rough. It's very hard. Like you say, you've got to be the right time, right place. You can go and pay for it, but how do you know what you're paying for? You're getting the value you deserve.
Sure.
My thing is, like, you just got to put yourself in a network. So if you feel like, what's that place called again? Clubhouse. And I know there's an app called Clubhouse. You got LinkedIn, you got Discord, you got Twitter, which is X. You got all these people on prop firms. You got YouTube. So not all these gurus will open up their doors for you to go, hey, come and help me, this and that. Everything comes at a price, right?
Right.
Every year, that's why I was keen to go to Dubai this year, but it just didn't happen. When you go to like the World X Forex Expo, you go to these exhibitions. They have one in Miami every year where you have like Q Banks, Jessica Lane, and a few others who are successful in the US doing what they're doing. Their story is different as well because we're in different countries. But when you go to these expos, you are going to connect with like-minded individuals, and it's just like a journey. How do you get into fitness? You meet other people at competitions in the gym. So in terms of trading, you go where traders go, right or wrong. It's a jungle out there. But over time, you'll find one or two people that resonate with your values and you build from there. Hey, I know this guy is good. It's networking. That's the only way you're going to open up that door. But networking comes with a fee. How are you going to pay for a ticket to go to an event? Are you going to fly to, I don't know, LA, New York, Switzerland to attend an event to open up that door? Or like myself, I remember years ago, this was 90, I think it was 98, 99. I've never been to New York. My first time in the United States was about just before the millennium. I think it was about 98, 99. I got on a flight to New York. Said, wow, on British Airways. I remember that flight. I was, wow, first time in New York. I was like, damn, wow, is this New York? I saw the Statue of Liberty. New York was like, it was cold that night. I was like, wow. It just looked all different to me. I was like, wow, I saw my cousin. He showed me around New York. It was great, cool. Came back to London. I said, wow, I want to do that. I went to go out, but I couldn't go out then because I was not 21. So I was very restricted in what I could do. So I said, you know what, cool. New York was good. Yeah, next time. Now, as I got older and I was taking more trips, I went Miami, I was going traveling friends. Then I got to feel what America's like. Then I said, you know what? I realized a lot of Americans have got, I'll use the word Q money. I don't know if you guys want billions, right? Sorry, I swore on the pod.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, you're good.
I don't know if you guys want billions. I love billions a lot with what's his name again? What his
I
real name?
forget.
But
Damian,
Bob,
Damian Lewis,
Damian
Damian
Lillard.
somebody.
No, not Damian Lillard. That's a basketball player.
No, but I was
Damian
thinking Damian, is it Lewis? Is Damian
Damian
Lewis?
Lewis. Yeah, Damian Lewis. Yeah. He goes by the name Bobby Axelrod. And Billions is based on a true story between a district attorney and a billionaire. And they made a series of it. It's ended now, but I love Bobby Axelrod and the character he plays. And he's always fighting his nemesis, Chuck Rhodes. He brings in a policy, say, you billionaires can't make money. But then Bobby says that, you know what, in the first episode, what's the point of having you money if you can't use it? Disposable cash. And the status of that, and I said, wow, what's the point of having money you can't use it? And the whole concept of trade is always doing bigger deals, bigger deals. I said, you know what? How do I meet people like that? And I realized, you know what? Years ago, I subconsciously actually had the answer to it. And I only realized the reason why I'd done what I'd done a few years ago in 2000, I think it was 2005, around 2004, 2005. I flew first class to New York. I managed to like get myself a first class ticket, just a single, and the return was coach economy, right? So I said, well, I paid $3,000 for this ticket equivalent. So I'm going to talk to everybody in first class. I've got to make a friend, I've got to make a connection, and I've got to justify that payment somehow, some way. So I wore a sharp suit, took my laptop. Yeah, first class, cool. Yeah. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm trading. Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm into oil stocks and options. Okay. So I connected with quite a few people. I'm getting off the flight. I made two friends who are still friends today. And what I'm trying to say from this is that if you don't position yourself in a position, sometimes you're going to have to make that investment. That $3,000 investment just to get an 8-hour flight from London to New York opened up a possibility, opened up a different world of opportunity. And this is what brought me on this journey faster, because I've seen people make big money. I've seen the process. And through their networks, I've tapped into their networks to find people to help me. So it all comes down to investing in the network. So there's no such thing as right or wrong place. It's just being in a place where the action's happening.
Putting in the same amount of work into your network as your trading itself is a great insight.
I think we've all heard it's not what you know, but it's about who you know, right? And a lot of times that is true because you know the right people. There's a lot of people. There's always someone smarter than you out there, and if you can find the next person who's smarter than you, then you're in a good place. It's like I actually heard a podcast recently talking about if you find yourself as being the smartest person in the room, then you need to leave the room and go find a new place because you need to constantly be finding people that will challenge you and be able to pull you up to the next level. Which, John, it's been a great conversation. We've been going for almost over an hour here. So I had one final question for you, though, to kind of wrap up. And a lot of people, I think, that listen to this podcast are beginners. I mean, Levi and I consider ourselves still beginners ourselves anyway, especially compared to you, of course, with your wealth of experience. So my question for you is, what is the number one like biggest mistake that you see like beginner traders make? So you've coached, as you said, you've coached a lot of people. You used to work for a prop firm, and so you got to see a lot of let's say at least beginner traders come through those doors. What was the number one takeaway that you took that beginner traders should be aware of? What was their number one mistake, and maybe how do you think they can fix that mistake that you see common among most beginners?
They have high expectations and they want an instant result. And like I said before, it's patience and your psychological mindset. Those are two things. And you have to manage your expectations. The expectations you've got, well, I'm going to make it. I can't do magic overnight. I can show you the plays, but ultimately, I can't change the way you think. So if you come to me with the wrong mindset, it's not going to work. So I will definitely say you have to come with the right psychological mindset, an open mind, and be willing to start from scratch. An open mind, a strong psychological mindset, and more importantly, patience. Because if you put these things together, a psychological mindset and a disciplined process by being patient and following the process, I guarantee you see instant results.